he was like, yes, that's the cut. That's what I want. So I feel like we kind of hit that today with that mark. So I wanted to talk about product that I was going to put in his hair. So first thing is the Aveda Texturizing Tonic, which is a sea salt sugar spray. It recreates what your hair would do if you went to the beach. So this guy's obviously got a lot of nice texture. So we just want to keep his texture looking good throughout the day. I go pretty heavy-handed, man. He's got a lot of hair, so it's not going to hurt it. Just kind of spraying that through. And then the next thing is the Aveda Grooming Cream. Reason I like this, moisture control. Not a lot of hold. Somebody with longer hair is not looking for hold. We're not looking to cement the hair down. We just want to give it a little bit of hold or a little bit of control, not hold. So kind of think of it like a lotion. You're going to kind of work that back to front, using your hands like a brush almost. So we went through this. He said he's not going to be blow drying his hair. Do what you were doing with your hair just a second ago. Show him what you do with the flip. Do the flip thing. There you go. That's what most of my dudes at 18 are going to be doing with their hair. So I'm not gonna talk to him about blow drying. I know what he's all about, and that's what it's going to do. And I think we gave him something that he can rock and grow out for 6 to 8 weeks or 10 to 12 weeks. It's still going to be a great haircut.
Can you hear me with the blow dryer on? You okay? Okay. So with curls, I actually use the same products on him that Brian used, the Texture Tonic and the Grooming Cream. With curly hair, I always recommend to clients, you want to use something for moisture to help with the frizz and something with some sort of hold in it to give it that definition to come through. And especially with the curls, I always talk with all of my clients, female and men, you never want to towel dry the hair and roughen it up because that stretches the curls out. So when I go to style the hair, curly, I want it to be more on the sopping wet side because it causes the curls to clump together. And then towel dry, you just want to lightly press the hair with the towel. So the whole time you're encouraging that curl to come through, you're never trying to disrupt it in any way. And then we're probably going to mostly air dry most days. This is just to help speed up the styling process here. So I'm just going low blow, high heat, which is going to I'm not messing with it too much because we're going for more of a controlled look. If you wanted to see more of that volume go through, I'd be getting more in there and messing it up a bit more, but we're going for more controlled here. But yeah, the biggest thing is because almost all guys, when they get out of the shower, will roughen up the hair. And then another big thing is when talking about how to use product, I was talking with him, we get a peanut size amount out and make sure we're working it through the hair. 80% of guys will work it through and then just go like that and they're done, right? And then all the product is right here in the front. You want to make sure you're actually working it through and giving your clients these lessons, because if they look out here looking great and then tomorrow they shampoo their hair and it looks not so great, that's on you, and you want them to look good all the time, so that's going to bring you more clients and they're going to keep coming back to you. So yeah, we're almost dry here, so it's almost done. And he was saying sometimes you got to fight with it and work with it. But with curls, it's all about playing. I love playing with people's natural textures. And I love that nowadays people are accepting it more. They're not fighting it as much. And it's all about just playing with it. See what the hair wants to do. Okay, you want to go this way? I'll work with you. Let's go that way. Let's not try and pull it all forward when it wants to go back. Work with it, and it's going to make it a lot easier for you.
It looks really great. I love the way you're diffusing the texture and the wave in there. It's really amazing.
He's got awesome hair. Awesome hair.
Yeah.
I like the product you use because you can totally tell it softened the hair.
Yeah. So as it dries, I'm just going to kind of lightly go through and break it up a little bit. Oh man, you've got such good hair. I love this.
And Sierra, I noticed you were going through that wide tooth comb. Why did you do that?
Oh yeah, after it's dry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why were you doing it when it was wet? Just to create more of the wave pattern?
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, I'd say that's pretty much good. I still feel a little bit bulky right in through here, so okay, thank you.
You're the professional.
I want to maintain the length, just take a little bit more weight out from this side. So just holding it square to the head here. And a lot of times people always say don't mess with curly hair after it dries, but I find with my hair I love it more. The more I play with it, the better I love it. So after the hair is dry, don't be afraid of it. Yeah.
Looks great. Looks amazing. Very, very
So
good.
good, CC.
Well, it looks like Gary, Trevor, we're running out of time here. Our 45 minutes is up. I'd like to thank you guys for having us on your education event. We're very honored, and I'd like to thank Brian, Sierra, and Daniel for doing a great job, and always the models. Thank you guys, and look forward to seeing all the other people. Thank you.
This haircut. So here we go. Right down the middle, I'm going to take the number 2 metal detachable blade and I'm going to go straight down the middle on this haircut. And that's when they cut and everything just cuts so smoothly. So just take a look at how you detach and remove and put the blades on. This can be a little tricky if you're not used to doing it. There is a release lever on the Mentor clipper itself in the back, which releases the blade from the actual clipper. I'm going to start off with the 1A and I'm going to start blending on the side of the temple, and I'm going to work this around the head. I'll go from temple to temple with this, and I'm bringing it just to the parietal ridge. One thing I like to do also is kind of when you get to the round parts of the head, I like to kind of use like more of the corner of the blade rather than resting the whole blade on the scalp. This kind of helps you with blending just by using like the first 4 teeth of the blade, using the corner of the blade. Now I'm going to go ahead and switch the blade to the number 1. I'm actually starting this from the higher blade, which would be the 1A, and I'm going to work down from the 1A. So I'm going number 1 after the 1A, then I'll use the OA, and then I'll use the 3-aught. So the key is just not to go and cut with your shorter blade where you already cut with the longer blade. So you almost have to develop an eye when you're blending. I always recommend that you use your mirror and you kind of take a step back away from your work just to make sure that you're not leaving any lines of demarcation. So I'm going to continue with the number 1 as I did with the 1A, and I'll work that back from one side of the head to the other. Now I'm going to switch out to the OA. So the OA is going to transition into the 1 blade. So I'll work that from one side of the head to the other. And keep in mind, I'm still working using my corners. If it's like a lot of surface on the scalp, I'll use the whole blade. But when I come to the rounds of the head, and just to make help make me blend in better, I'll definitely use the corners of the blade. Now I'm going to switch to the 3/0. And this blade is a little tricky, especially when you're blending. So I do use the corners a lot more. Uh, the 4 blade system, definitely Wall has changed the game on metal detachables. The blades themselves, they not only run cooler, but they're also cut in a certain way to help one transition into the other. So that's kind of like the beauty of the blade system itself. And when you have such an aggressive clipper and you put those on there, like the Mentor, it's second to none. So let's think about it. We started with the 1A, then we used the 1, then we used the OA, and now we're finishing off with the 3/0, which some people might call it like a 3/0, 3/0. So just know this is the shortest blade that is in the set of blades. Now I'm going to start working with my cordless detailer Ally. This is a very aggressive trimmer and it has a precision cutting blade on it. The blade is actually called the T-wide blade that is on this tool. And I'm going to work this from one side of the head to the other. But I'm also going to show you guys a very cool tip and a trick actually that will help you not make a very harsh line of demarcation. So keep in mind that this is going to be a bald fade. So I'm going to come down all the way to my shaver on the bottom. So the mistake a lot of people make is that they'll start working with their shaver and they'll create another line in their haircut, a line of demarcation that is very hard to get out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave myself a guide, and right now when I come back with my finale shaver, that guide that I left there with the longer hair, that's going to assist me so that I don't bring my shaver too far up. And what happens is people will go too high up with that shaver and it'll be difficult, almost impossible, to get the line of demarcation out. So just by me leaving that longer hair there, is kind of like a reference. It's a guide to let me know not to bring up my shaver past that point. So once I'm finished with my finale shaver, I'll come back with the cordless detailer Li and I'll remove my guide. I'll start working all that out from one side of the head to the other. And you could see I'm getting a very good transition in there. Also, the cutting blades, like the 3/0 cutting blade, it cuts so finely that your trimmer will blend right into it. So you can see as I start to work this around the head, I'm not having any difficulty with my trimmer blending right into the clipper work that I did. And like I said, this is a great tip and a great trick for you guys to utilize. That way you don't make a mistake. Now I'm going to use my precision cutting blade, that T-wide blade, on my cordless detailer Li, and I'm going to work the front hairline. I'm going to clean that up and make it nice and sharp. I always like to start off in the center, and then I work my way to one corner of the hairline, and then I do the same on the other side. I always take a step back, or I utilize my mirror to make sure that I'm actually cutting a straight line. So for those of us who don't use a straight razor, you can always follow back with your finale shaver after you use your detailer or your trimmer and clean out the hairline This is a very close cutting tool, so you can get a clean hairline just by following back with your finale shaver. I'm gonna follow up with the straight razor, and I'm gonna use from Wall's 1919 wet line. I'm gonna use the shave cream that they have. I'm only gonna use a small amount, and I'm gonna go ahead and rub that into the area where I'm going to shave at. Now, once I have that worked in, I'm gonna go ahead and follow with my straight razor. I always like to pull the skin when I'm working with my straight razor. This helps me not apply too much pressure and possibly cut my client. So I definitely like to stretch the skin a lot, and I pull the skin a lot when I am working with my straight edge razor. Once I'm done shaving, I'll follow up with some 1919 aftershave moisturizer. So you'll just apply a little bit to the area that you shaved and just rub it in. All right, so now I'm gonna have a little fun and I'm gonna put a little twist on Bird's haircut. And I'm gonna add some designs going straight down the center of this haircut now. So I'll use my cordless detailer Li with the precision cutting blade, and you can see that the blade on this is the T wide blade, so it's going to help me cover a lot of area. And a lot of times I like to use just the corner of this tool, so the T blade and the corner of it kind of acts and helps me use it as if I were using a pencil. I often get asked, what is your inspiration, or what do you do? Do you work off of a pattern when you do designs? And I always start off my designs. I either use like letters or numbers or shapes when I'm working. And you could see when I'm beginning this design, I'm beginning with the actual letter N. And I use a lot of N's all the time because my name is Nieves and that's my first initial. So I always usually start off my designs with the letter N, and then I'll attach like other letters or other shapes to it. I'm attaching a C right now to this design, and I'll kind of go in lightly and make like a rough draft, and then I'll start to actually really get in there a little deeper and make the design pop more and cut a little bit closer to the scalp so that the design does show. So you can see to this end now, I'm connecting a C. And once I finish cleaning this out, I'm going to go ahead and connect off of that C. I'm going to connect another letter, and that'll be the letter N. It'll almost look like a Z as well. It just depends on what angle that you're looking at it from. But I always say I use the letter Z a lot as well because of my last name, Almaraz. The last letter in my last name is a Z. So I use a lot of N's and Z's, as you can see right here. So if you're looking for like an easy way to kind of like get a visual on doing designs, definitely capitalize off of this: N's, C's, Z's. Um, I do show a lot of this kind of work on my Instagram page and my social media. If you want to follow me there, just go ahead and look me up at How to Fade Hair. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of the platforms as How to Fade Hair. So now that I have the design in, I'm going to go ahead and lighten his hair. Um, this again is inspiration from Birdmena. If you know him, you know what I mean. All right, so we're back from the processing of the hair lightener, and I'm going to take my cordless magic clip now, and I'm going to go ahead and clipper over comb where I did the shorter clipper work from the Mentor. I left off at the 1A at this point, and I'm going to go ahead and blend in the longer hair just a little bit more. So when I'm doing clipper over comb work, I usually will use most of the clipper blades sideways when I'm removing like a lot of hair, like a lot of bulk. But when I do blend with my clipper, I'll turn my clipper teeth facing up and I'll actually use more of the corner of the blade. So I'm going to go ahead and saturate the hair now. I'm going to wet it down and I'm going to switch to the Big Mag. So the Big Mag is a detachable clipper and it has this accessory blade. This is the all-in-one blade. It's an adjustable blade, and when you adjust it to certain adjustments, it will actually work like if you were using a feather razor. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this and use this like if I were using a feather razor, and I'm going to add texture to the longer length of hair on top. I'm going to take about 1 inch sections and I'm going to work from the back of the head and I'm going to work towards the front fringe. So I'm going to get up as close as I can. I'm going to adjust the camera here. I am recording this from a tripod. So what you want to do is you want to apply pressure by pushing the hair up against the machine by using your thumb. So you'll use your thumb to push the hair up against the clipper and then you'll just pull up. And again, same on this side. I'll take 1 inch sections from the starting from the back and I'll work towards the front fringe. So once I got that in, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the blade on the clipper to the middle position. And this is not going to be as aggressive as a feather razor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just comb the hair and brush across it lightly. And this is going to add a lot of texture and movement at the tips. I'll go ahead and do this to both sides. Once I'm done, I'll go ahead and blow dry the hair and prep it so that I can style it. So I am going to use Wall's 1919 product again, and this is called Fiber Paste. So it has a medium hold and a natural finish. So I'll just rub that into my hands and then I'll get it and work it through the hair. Once you got that good texture in, you could definitely just kind of use your fingertips to twist the hair and that'll add like a nice look to it.
primero que vamos a hacer es vamos a mojar el cabello, asegurándonos que no vamos a sobresaturar el cabello. Y vamos a crear una sección empezando del área de recesión en su lado izquierdo, trabajando hacia la corona y dándole vuelta al lado derecho para terminar en el otro lado de la recesión. Tomen nota que es muy importante crear nuestra sección limpias y iguales. Aunque nuestras máquinas Wall pueden trabajar con el cuello mojado, seco o húmedo, vamos a secar el cabello para eliminar el exceso de agua. Y trabajando con cabello largo, vamos a eliminar el exceso de largo de cabello usando la técnica máquina sobre peine. Y la idea es de ir dejando más o menos de 3 a 4 pulgadas de largo de cabello. Y vamos a seguir trabajando hasta la parte de atrás de la cabeza, siguiendo a su lado derecho. Seguimos con nuestro aumento número 6 en nuestra máquina Wall Cordless Senior con el ajuste totalmente cerrado. Vamos a empezar en el frente de la oreja y trabajar una técnica que se llama paralelo a la pared. Paralelo a la pared me refiero a que la máquina la vamos a ir deslizando desde hacia abajo hacia arriba. No vamos a seguir la curva de la cabeza ni tampoco vamos a sacar la máquina hacia nosotros. La idea es ir directamente desde abajo y hasta arriba. Siguiente paso, vamos a usar nuestro aumento número 4. Seguimos con nuestra Wall Cordless Senior y el ajuste totalmente cerrado. La única diferencia que vamos a hacer, vamos a inclinar la cabeza solamente un poquito y vamos a seguir usando la técnica paralelo a la pared. Y como se van fijando, voy deslizando la máquina ligeramente, no voy usando un modo muy agresivo durante el tiempo que la cabeza de nuestro cliente esté inclinada. Y aquí en el video pueden ver un poco más cerca cómo voy haciendo la técnica paralelo a la pared, deslizando la máquina suavemente, empezando en la parte de abajo y trabajando directamente hacia arriba. Seguimos con nuestro aumento número 2, nuestra máquina World Cordless Senior, con una palanca de ajuste totalmente cerrada. Trabajando su lado izquierdo, empezando frente a la oreja, seguimos con la misma técnica paralelo a la pared, siempre deslizando de maneras suaves. Y como pueden observar, sigo trabajando hacia la parte de atrás de la cabeza hasta terminar toda la vuelta de su lado derecho. Y aquí tienen una toma en el video donde pueden ver la gradación que vamos formando usando la técnica paralelo a la pared. Usando nuestra máquina World Cordless Senior con la palanca de ajuste totalmente cerrada, vamos a comenzar a formar una línea de marcación suave. Vamos a ir trabajando hasta llegar a la parte de atrás de la cabeza. Luego vamos a comenzar a trabajar a la parte derecha, creando la línea de marcación suave y la trabajamos hasta conectarlo al centro de atrás de la cabeza. Mientras conectamos la línea de marcación suave, vamos a ir nivelando y ajustando la línea de marcación como la vayamos necesitando. Nuestro siguiente paso, con nuestra World Cordless Senior, vamos de la palanca de ajuste totalmente abierta y vamos a ir creando una segunda línea de marcación más o menos media pulgada más arriba de nuestra primera línea de marcación. Usando nuestra máquina en la forma cucharada para ir poder ir creando esta línea de marcación. Y esto lo vamos a ir llevando hasta la parte de atrás y seguir trabajando hasta terminar su lado derecho. Y seguimos con nuestra World Cordless Senior y vamos a trabajar con la palanca no cerrada, no abierta, pero hasta la mitad. Y usando la esquina de la cuchilla, vamos a ir borrando nuestra primera línea de marcación. Va a haber momentos donde necesitamos usar toda la cuchilla y va a haber momentos donde vamos a usar solamente la esquina. Dependiendo qué tan oscuro estén las manchas o las sombras, vamos a ir abriendo y cerrando nuestra palanca de ajuste. Nuestro siguiente paso sería usar nuestro aumento número 1 con nuestra wall core senior, la palanca de ajuste totalmente abierta. Seguir usándola en forma de cucharada, vamos a trabajar la línea de marcación media pulgada hacia más arriba. Y la vamos a ir trabajando hasta la parte de atrás de la cabeza, siempre usando la misma forma y técnica, hasta que lleguemos a su lado derecho. Y trabajando con la palanca de ajuste en la mitad, o sea, no está abierta, no está cerrada, sino está en la mitad. Vamos a ir trabajando con la esquina de la cuchilla, me refiero de 2 a 4 dientes de la cuchilla. Vamos a ir trabajando para ir eliminando sombras o manchas que nos hayan quedado dentro de nuestro degradado. Y recuerden, va a haber momentos donde necesitamos abrir un poquito más o cerrar un poquito más nuestra palanca de ajuste. Seguimos trabajando con el aumento, la media, usando la wall core con la palanca de ajuste cerrada. Vamos a trabajar con la esquina de la cuchilla para ir borrando cualquier sombra o mancha que vaya quedando. Y durante el proceso vamos a ir abriendo y cerrando la palanca de ajuste a la manera que la vayamos necesitando para ir borrando las manchas o sombras que nos vayan quedando en nuestro degradado. Y usando en este aumento la 1,5 y la palanca de ajuste totalmente abierta, vamos a usar la máquina en forma de cucharada para solamente ir refinando el degradado que nos van quedando las manchas o sombras más pequeñas. Y vamos a ir trabajando hasta la parte de atrás de la cabeza y toda la vuelta hacia su lado derecho. Recuerden que ese proceso va a haber momentos donde necesitemos abrir y cerrar nuestra palanca de ajuste. Y usando nuestro Wall Detailer Li Pro, la vamos a ir usando para ir creando una línea bien pequeña a toda la vuelta de la cabeza. Seguimos con la Wall Detailer Li Pro, trabajando hasta la parte de atrás de la cabeza y vamos a terminar a su lado derecho. Recuerden que mientras vamos formando esta línea, la línea tiene que ser bien delgada, no debemos dejar la línea gruesa. Y usando nuestro wall final, la vamos a ir trabajando a la parte de abajo de la línea que dejamos. La razón que formamos esta línea es por el uso de esta máquina. La mayoría de veces que nos vamos haciendo nuestros degradados, especialmente cuando son estos tipos de cortes degradados hasta la piel, a veces nos llevamos la wall final hacia muy arriba y vamos formando otra línea de marcación. Pero si dejamos esta línea a toda la vuelta de la cabeza, nos protege para poder evitar que subamos la máquina a la wall final hacia muy arriba. Y ahora con mi Wall Cordless Detailer Li Pro vamos a ir eliminando la línea que fuimos dejando. Ahora vamos a usar la patillera como fuera una máquina para simplemente eliminar la línea que dejamos. Y este proceso se los recomiendo a muchos de las personas que están tratando de practicar los desvanecidos que son hasta la piel, porque en esta manera, con estos pasos a pasos, pueden evitar llevar la wall final muy arriba. Trabajando con el cabello de arriba, vamos a mojar el cabello. Recuerden que la idea nunca es sobresaturar el pelo con agua. Solo queremos lo suficiente para poder crear nuestras secciones. Ahora vamos a seccionar el cabello en 4 partes. Y ahora usando nuestra máquina como fueran tijeras, vamos a agarrar el cabello en 90 grados y empezar a cortar el cabello al gusto del cliente. Empezando con nuestra máquina a trabajar enfrente de los dedos, llegando a nuestro segundo nudo y girar la máquina hacia nosotros. Seguimos el proceso hasta trabajar hasta llegar al frente de la cabeza. Con la sección que hemos terminado de recortar, la vamos a usar como una forma de guía para poder empezar nuestra próxima sección. Vamos a seguir trabajando hasta llegar a la parte del frente de la cabeza. Seguimos con nuestra siguiente sección, peinando el cabello 90 grados hacia arriba. Recuerden que la técnica máquina sobre dedos, trabajándola como que fueran tijeras, es importante de girar la máquina cuando llegamos a nuestro segundo nudo. Recuerden que siempre es importante chequear nuestro trabajo, empezando en la parte del frente de la cabeza y peinando el cabello hacia 90 grados directamente hacia arriba. Vamos a ir eliminando cualquier imperfección que nos haya quedado. Y vamos a seguir trabajando de derecha a izquierda o izquierda a derecha. Y seguimos trabajando hasta llegar hasta la parte de atrás de la cabeza. Seguimos usando la técnica máquina sobre dedos para ir eliminando todo el exceso de cabello que nos vayan quedando en el área de la corona. Recuerden que solo vamos a trabajar en el área de la corona, no la vamos a trabajar en los áreas laterales, porque los áreas laterales deben ser desconectados. Nuestro próximo paso será cepillar el cabello, no solamente para eliminar el exceso de agua que tenga el cabello, pero al mismo tiempo le vamos cepillando para ir dando forma al estilo que le vamos a dar. Y usando mi máquina wall inalámbrica con la palanca de ajuste totalmente abierta, voy a usar la técnica máquina sobre peine. La voy a ir usando para ir eliminando un poco de exceso de largo de cabello y al mismo tiempo para ir presionando el área de transición. Cuando voy usando la máquina sobre peine, voy a ir usando solamente de 2 a 4 dientes para ir borrando o eliminando las sombras que me hayan quedado. Después que hemos trabajado toda la vuelta de la cabeza, vamos a pulir el cabello en forma en detalle usando de 2 a 3 dientes de la máquina. Y usando nuestro producto de Wall 1919, vamos a aplicar solamente un poco de producto, no es necesario aplicar mucho. Y cuando aplicamos el producto, recuerden que solo vamos a aplicar en la parte de arriba del pelo, no hasta las raíces. Y aquí tienen, mi gente, el resultado final. Espero que les hayan gustado este video, espero que les hayan gustado mi trabajo. Síganos en todas las áreas de redes sociales y nos miramos en la próxima, mi gente. Se cuidan.